Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is probably a new series. I guess I'm just gonna call it. What do I call it? What do I call it? I call it. I don't want to say reading with Ash, but just beneficial reminders. And that's it. It's just a little reminder, because people always need reminders, and I think with hopefully my way of giving a reminder, it's sort of a bit more direct alongside with apparently my soft spoken voice. I don't think I do speak in a quite demeaning way, unconsciously, of course. I don't mean to be demeaning, but I guess we'll just call it reading beneficial reminders. I think beneficial reminders would be good, inshallah. So the book we got is Disciplining the Soul by Ibn al-Jawzi, rahimahullah. So far, the benefits, subhanallah, one of the main things that really stood out to me when you read a book, he has like his biography and everything, is that he says, while he was very young, so I'm imagining like probably younger than 15, maybe younger than around 10, he wouldn't socialize with anyone. And he'd only leave his house for prayer, so for the wajib. He wouldn't even play with people his age. Like, he wouldn't play toys or whatever. Most of the time, he just spent all his life busy in seeking knowledge, preaching and authoring. Like, that's insane. SubhanAllah, like, especially us young people, like, we get told, especially because we live in the West and everything, that we have to take advantage of our youth and do whatever I want or whatever, which I agree to a certain point, like travel, all that sort of stuff in it. You get more freedom, there's more liberation at a younger age compared to an older age. Though, if you set up a foundation for yourself at a young age, that would probably be one of your main priorities, in my opinion. Because imagine you're just loafing around, and then boom, you get hit with bills, all that sort of stuff, and you don't know how to do this stuff because school doesn't teach you. So this is why it's important to pick up a good habit of reading good books to teach you at a young age. So subhanAllah, Ibn al-Jawzi, just by his fitrah, you already understand that, subhanAllah. So I remember the first benefit that I got from him. First benefit. So he said, so in this second chapter, he says, exhibiting patience in the face of vice, so in the face of sinning, is a merit of the inner self by which a person endures both goodness and evil. SubhanAllah, when we get desires, we should just be patient and know that no matter the situation, the desires are going to come, no matter what. We get animals, they come. As in the desires for the animal, they come and go. If they want to eat, they want to eat. If it doesn't want to eat, it doesn't want to eat. It just wants to rest. Every time you get a desire to sin or to go do something haram, know that every single time that desire is a test from Allah. If it's one thing that I would want people to benefit from this book, is that we already know as Muslims that this life is a test, and we're supposed to worship Allah, and know that whenever we're tested from Allah, we're tested via desires, via whether it's lust, gluttony, stinginess, envy, all this sort of stuff. Know that it's a test from Allah. I think as well, another thing that stood out to me, I'm trying to see here, there we go. So how to decrease lust, which I think a lot of the youth nowadays especially need it, because, well, especially a common conversation topic around young Muslim men is marriage. And marriage, obviously, not primarily, but one of the main reasons why people get married is to not get themselves into zina, you know. And Ibn al-Jawzi, rahimahullah, he says that for the intensity of this disease, he decreases with marriage. So there you go, marriage decreases this desire to marry. Possessing new servants during that time, that context. Traveling for long distances, so if you're going for seeking knowledge, etc. Thinking of the betrayal of the loved one, thinking of that. the loved one. So I think in this context, he's specifically speaking about zina. He's speaking about fornication or cheating. Reading books about asceticism, so basically wearing simple clothes, all the etc. Remembering death, visiting the sick, and visiting cemeteries. And it reminds me of the hadith, very famous hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he says, if one of you wants to kill your desires, just remember death. There's nothing that will kill your desires other than death. SubhanAllah. And in the same chapter, Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he says that he mentions a poem. He says, we have seen the father of mankind. Oh no, it's not even a poem, sorry. It's a letter, so it was a message between a boy and a young man. So the man was infatuated by the young boy. Let me read it. So that a man loved the young man. Then one day he looked in the mirror and noticed some grey hairs so he deserted this boy. This boy then wrote to him saying, why was I abandoned like never before, and the proofs of abandonment are so clear, and I see that you are drinking me but confounding me, loving other besides him. Although I have always known you, drinking me alone, his only lover. The man wrote back saying, I'm acting like a young man when in reality I am old, I am being flagged with awkwardness. Do not blame me for my disaffection. What I have wasted is enough for me. I will be held accountable for what I have done. So save me the sins I may commit. We have seen the father of mankind, Adam alayhi salam, due to mistake, descend in humiliation from heaven to earth. SubhanAllah. We know that from the story of Adam, how because he let shaitan beat and trick him, he was sent down to earth. The same with us. When what our iman, it decreases when we sin and goes up when we do good deeds. We get from Allah and His guidance, because only through His guidance we can achieve a victory, which is Jannat al-Firdaus, or Jannah in general. But obviously, as Muslims, we strive for Jannat al-Firdaus. May Allah make us among them. Allahumma ameen. Then Ibn al-Jawzi speaks about eating, and this is specific because obviously everyone's in the Ramadan right now, and everyone's eating a lot, like samosas, all that sort of stuff. It's actually funny. I think I got sent a reel literally today, jokingly enough. I don't know whether it's actually like, because the guy was referencing probably a companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't know. I need to get the evidence for this, because the guy, what he said was, subhanallah, was actually mad. So he said, he quoted that the Sahaba, he wouldn't break fast by eating, but he quoted saying that one of the Sahaba, he wouldn't break fast by eating, but he'd break fast by making love to his wife, which is a bit mad, I can't lie. I need to get that fact checked, I need to get that authenticated, because subhanAllah, that's a bit mad, I can't lie. If I find it, I'll put the reference here, innit? I'll put the reference here, just so I can find out for you guys, innit? Just so I'm not just speaking bollocks and I'm just spreading like misinformation, you know, because that's mad. Yeah, subhanAllah. Yeah. And you know, and then in this chapter 5, Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he says that secure yourself by seeking knowledge and contemplating the biographies of the wise scholars. As in, like, another great cure for desires is to study the life of the respected scholars. Because when we respect them naturally, we respect them. Especially if you're a student of knowledge, you have huge respect for them. Thus, they become your role models, right? You want to be like them, that's why you're a student of knowledge. That's one of the reasons why you're a student of knowledge. Not just to make your path to paradise easy, but also and to remove ignorance from your heart, because those are the two main intentions for why you should be seeking knowledge. But also, one of the reasons that you see the scholars and you're like, I want to be like them, subhanAllah. And so, rahimahullah, he says that because you're already respecting these scholars, they automatically become your role models, and thus you're going to follow them in their manners and etiquettes. SubhanAllah, what I've realized from this book is that a lot of contemplation is needed to become a better person. A lot of contemplation, a lot of deep internalized thinking, internalized thought, subhanAllah. Because why would you want to just go through this life unintentional? SubhanAllah. We should all be intentional with our actions, Because if we aren't, then what else are we doing it for? We're just doing it for the sake of pleasure. I was actually thinking on the way here, like, subhanAllah, like, the pleasure of Allah should be our main priority, and not the pleasure of our own selves. Of course, we can enjoy ourselves in the halal and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we're all going to be tested by Allah. We're all going to be tested by Allah. And that's Him telling us, asking us, you're going to choose yourself or you're going to choose me, right? Whatever. I don't want to make it black and white and whatever, but this is the reality. Unfortunately, this is the reality. Unfortunately, some people just need to wake up from it. It's either this or that, right? It's either this or that, and you gotta give it in a very gentle way, subhanAllah, very gentle way. Like, you gotta talk over the hadiths. Like, for example, subhanAllah, I got reminded of a great friend actually. I told them that, I'm gonna go visit a friend of mine, both for business and for pleasure. So I'm going over to another country. But I primarily wanted to go because I've got a friend there. And so they sent me a hadith, and the hadith was of walking through a person going through, going to travel to go visit a person in another town, and said, and then the angel, Allah showed the angel to go ask him, why are you going to go visit? And say, I'm going to go visit him because for the sake of Allah, nothing else. And then the angel then told the traveller, may Allah, just know that Allah loves you just like how you love your friend for the sake of Allah. SubhanAllah. And when I got told that hadith, I was like, SubhanAllah, man. Like, I didn't know of that hadith. SubhanAllah. Like, if you're traveling to go visit a friend that you love for the sake of Allah, like, that's your intention, just know that Allah loves you for that. Just imagine that. You're traveling to go see your brethren or your sister, and bam, just know that Allah is telling you that Allah loves you. SubhanAllah. Like, that's just insane. Like, this is the religion of Islam, bro. Like, subhanAllah. And then he goes on to stinginess. I don't think there's anything that I think the main clarification is that stingy is only used to describe someone that doesn't give their obligatory rights to the person. Like, for example, you don't give childcare. For example, if you're an ex-husband, you don't give childcare to your child, right? You're just being stingy. You're keeping the money, right? Or let's say you're not spending on your wife, you're not spending on your kids, you're not spending on the people that require your sustenance and your responsibility. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he said that what disease is as incurable as stinginess. Incurable, he used. Incurable. SubhanAllah. I think Ibn al-Jawzi, he goes on to say the cure. Yeah, he says, again, he said, like I've said before, the cure for stinginess is contemplate. As one will then realize that poor people are also one's brothers. He is favoured over them with wealth and what they are made in need of him. And also, being stingy, you're playing about with Allah's qadr. Like, Allah has willed for you to have that money. He's given you a responsibility. He's given you a trust, right? That's why you know when people get famous or whatever, they're like, oh no, it ain't it. Like, yeah, I want to be famous, but you don't see the other side of it. There's always two sides of the same coin. You can have this, but then you're gonna have that. There's greater burden with greater good. With great power comes great responsibility. SubhanAllah. You think there's gonna be of benefit if you're just doing nothing, right? SubhanAllah. Like, if you got all this knowledge, you've become a hafiz of the Quran. Journey's not over there. Journey's not over. You've got to memorize it now. And subhanAllah, even people go into more level and more depth, and they go learn more methods of recitation, more qira'at. Like, subhanAllah, like, bro, there's cost and maintenance, bro. If there's one thing that's always going to be needed, and that's maintenance. Maintenance in everything. Maintenance of an object, maintenance of a service, maintenance of a condition of something. SubhanAllah, like, maintenance is always going to be there. People don't think about maintenance. They don't think that, I've got to maintain and revise and stuff like that. No, you have to, man. Have to. It's part of the process, isn't it? But you got to love it, though. You got to love it. You got to enjoy the fruits and be like, you know what, the cost of it is nothing, right? Because it's like I remember I was reading a Blue Lock, and as of recent chapters, spoiler alert, Isagi, he becomes #1 tied with Rin, but he done it because he sacrificed everything so he could win. He went through so much pain. My bro was distraught on the pitch and was like, oh, how am I gonna beat them? And then boom, just got a snap like that, and now he's #1. Now he's #1. Like, I think people are a little bit worried because I got a camera out in a park, innit? But no, but that's it. And after all that pain, he gets that overwhelming joy. But that's it, man. Sacrifice. It's all sacrifice, bro. Sacrifice. You gotta sacrifice for the sake of Allah. I think I've babbled on long enough, genuinely. I've got to read the rest of this book, so I'll do that in the second part. Yeah, he just goes over like spitefulness, like, yeah, like this is literally what I was just saying about what was it? About envy. That's it. So he goes on to talk about envy. Yeah, so like to avoid envy, know that Allah has predestined what would happen. A brother got married. You're like, oh no, man, I should have been married. No, Allah has decreed that to happen. You shouldn't be. And then he goes on to say, it is as if the one who envies opposes the will of Allah, the will of the giver. La ilaha illallah, subhanallah. We don't want to become enemies of Allah, right? So why should we get angry? And this is an important distinction as well, yeah? The sin of envy is only earned upon wishing for the removal of the blessings bestowed upon the Muslim brethren. Only you can have that. It's like the distinction of a homosexual. You can have the homosexual feelings, but you gotta know that if you act upon it, then that's wrong. That's a sin. Same thing with envy. You can have the feelings. You're human. You're imperfect. Allah has created you that way. You're allowed to have these feelings, but you can't act upon it and say, "Oh, I wish that person didn't get what Allah has decreed for them." You can't. You can't. SubhanAllah. Yeah, and then he goes on. Ibn al-Jawzi speaks on about spitefulness, what makes something unforgetting. Yeah, he speaks on about unpleasant actions on words. So if someone's done something wrong to us, they're like, we get really like, oh, I wish, what's it called? Yeah, oh man, I can't believe you've done that to me. So, and then he says that if it's proven that good deeds and favors are not forgotten, so too are bad deeds are not forgotten. Because of a Sahaba that after the Battle of Badr, I think it was after the Battle of Badr or Uhud, a Sahabi came to another Sahaba, Ka'b ibn al-Malik. Talha, he ran to him and said, oh, shook Ka'b's hand, and he congratulated him because he was repented, because he was forgiven by Allah, because of the whole battle situation, because they betrayed the Prophet ﷺ. So, and because of that, Ka'b never forgot Talha's appreciation of that. So thus, Ibn al-Jawzi then says, good deeds are never forgotten, as well as bad deeds. And so, what I annotated was, what makes something unforgotten is that the action is done with great care and takes advantage of vulnerability of a person's feelings and preferences. So for example, if a person gives a gift that someone really, really wanted, someone's got a preference for it, and has got a sort of slight vulnerability towards it. It's like, oh, I really want it. So you take advantage, not in the manipulative way, but you say, oh, you know what, I'm going to help him. That's it, I'm going to help him. I'm going to help him get that thing that he wanted. And then that's it. Just now got into chapter 13. I'll finish the rest of the book by the end of this week, inshallah. I'll try record the second part in Germany, inshallah, because that's where I'll be going. And yeah, and just take care, inshallah. Salatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.